They're working on something else. So what does it take to change our thinking? Let's do another little experiment. Please get a piece of paper and a pen, or a pencil. What I'd like to do is, when I say go, sign your name 5 times with your normal hand. You already know what's happening here, but it makes a good point. So I want you to sign your name 5 times, your normal way, and when you're done signing the 5 times, please raise your hand. And I'll try to stop the stopwatch when about half of the room has accomplished it. Sign 5 times, raise your hand when you're done. Ready, go. Some hands are coming up. Hands are coming up. Okay, maybe that's about half. All right, great, thank you. That's 18 seconds. Three seconds faster than the Americans. All right, you know what's going to happen now? So we're thinking about what does it take. Let's go back. What does it take to change the culture in the organization? We're trying to change the behavior and the thinking of the people in the organization. Let's instead do a small change. Just one small change. Please switch hands. Okay, same procedure. With your non-dominant hand, please sign your name 5 times when I say go, and raise your hand when you're done. Ready, go. Okay, hands are coming up. Some. Yeah. When I see about half, I'll. Okay, maybe that's half now. Okay, thank you. 38 seconds. 38 seconds compared to 18. Americans, they're still working. We're sending in a drone. Okay, how did it feel the second time compared to the first time? How did it feel? Awkward? Frustrating, I agree. Unnatural, awkward, those are such great words about your change process in your organization, right? Awkward, frustrating, unnatural, right? Exactly. So why does the second time feel odd? Now, by the way, now you have an engineer talking about the brain, so please enjoy it with caution, right? So we have to be more conscious about things we haven't done before. We have to be more deliberate, and it slows us way down. So we have this brain that weighs 3 pounds, a kilogram, a little over a kilogram, this meatloaf. But it takes about 20% of your body's energy. So the brain is constantly trying to conserve energy. It will shift as much as it can to automatic responses. Imagine if you had to decide everything. When you start to drive a car, where do you practice? Parking lot. Why? It's easier. Well, you'll survive, right? Because the brake, the clutch, the gas pedal, the gear shift, the checking with the head, all of this is new, right? And you have to consciously think about it. When you're doing that, what are you not paying attention to? The road, right? Today when you drive, do you think about where the brake pedal is and that kind of thing? Not at all. So you can spend your cognitive resources, or your brain's energy, on what else? On what? The road in front of you and navigating that territory, right? So the brain will make things automatic so that we can conserve energy. So the brain creates and prefers habits for safety and efficiency. Unconscious thinking enables us to get through the day by taking care of routine decisions and conserving brain energy. You only have so much cognitive resources. Unconscious thinking is very fast and instinctive. Oh, that's a cat. while deliberate thinking is slow and intentional because it costs a lot of our energy and attention. For those of you who are interested, you can see on the left, we have billions of these synapses in our brain, and here's a trained synapse. There's very little resistance. The signal flows very easily. On the right is an untrained synapse, something we haven't done before, and it has a very difficult time transferring the signal. We slow way down. We have to be deliberate. On the left is signing your name the way you always do. On the right is signing your name with the other hand. So we have a lean dilemma, okay? How did it feel the second time? Different, difficult, weird, uncomfortable, awkward. We have well-established neural pathways for signing with our dominant hand, automatic, fast, comfortable. And we default to the already established thought and behavior patterns because they conserve mental resources. You're going to sign with your normal hand. So here's the dilemma. We want to change to working scientifically according to something like the improvement kata pattern in our organization. That's what Toyota's been doing for 60 years. However, we naturally tend to stick with our current ways of doing things because they use existing neural pathways that require much less energy. So the message of my talk is that we are screwed. I'm sorry, and that's the end of the talk. Best of luck to you. You could end there. It's possible. So information and incentives are not enough to change behavior and thinking. It's very easy to go on the web and find many different lean courses. Here, creative problem solving workshop, 8D problem solving, lean and Kaizen course, on and on and on. The content of the courses is correct. The content of the courses is useful. And I'm not saying you shouldn't take the course, but that alone will not change our behavior. That will not change our behavior. That's just like taking a course and they say, well, you should write with your other hand. And then you go home. You're not going to do that. So let's take a look at how the brain actually acquires new patterns, how we acquire new habits. Yes, please play the video. Perfect timing.
Not so long ago, many scientists believed that the brain did not change after childhood, that it was hardwired and fixed by the time we became adults. But recent advances in only the last decade now tell us that this is simply not true. The brain can and does change throughout our lives. It is adaptable, like plastic. Hence, neuroscientists call this neuroplasticity. How does neuroplasticity work? If you think of your brain as a dynamic, connected power grid, there are billions of pathways or roads lighting up every time you think, feel, or do something. Some of these roads are well-travelled. These are our habits, our established ways of thinking, feeling, and doing. Every time we think in a certain way, practice a particular task, or feel a specific emotion, we strengthen this road. It becomes easier for our brains to travel this pathway. Say we think about something differently, learn a new task, or choose a different emotion. We start carving out a new road. If we keep travelling that road, our brains begin to use this pathway more, and this new way of thinking, feeling, or doing becomes second nature. The old pathway gets used less and weakens. This process of rewiring your brain by forming new connections and weakening old ones is neuroplasticity in action. The good news is that we all have the ability to learn and change by rewiring our brains. If you have ever changed a bad habit or thought about something differently, you have carved a new pathway in your brain and experienced neuroplasticity firsthand. With repeated and directed attention towards your desired change, you can rewire your brain.
That's the best video I've found so far that explains in 2 minutes kind of how it kind of works. It's not quite that mechanical. I think if an engineer looks at that video, the brain is suddenly like a machine, right? It's not quite like that. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the video is available on YouTube, and maybe we'll send out the link for the video so that you can use it. There are a few other videos I'd like to share with you too. I'm not going to show them today, but we'll give you the links. So here are some ingredients for changing our minds. Here are some ingredients for developing new skills. And this is the second question, right? How can other companies develop similar patterns of thinking and acting in their organizations? And we're struggling, or working on, we're struggling with that question, and we're learning a lot. And so please view this as information from along the way. It's not, there are other ingredients too. But number one is just daily practice, right?